All right, so interesting. We now have the replacement to Andy Ludwig. All right, and it is Jason Beck. Jason Beck, all right, I'm going to tell you a little highs and lows. The highs is that New Mexico went 5-7, which might not seem great, but they had the second total offense in the country. Their quarterback is a guy by the name of Derek Dampier. He's a sophomore. He accounted for 12 touchdowns on the ground, threw for 19 touchdowns, so 31 total touchdowns. They had big-time offense, okay? It's the Bronco Mendenhall. He's from Bronco Mendenhall tree, so Kyle knows about defensive football. All right, Kyle Whittingham. So he wanted an offensive coordinator that has really been under defensive style head coaches. All right, so Jason Beck spent then a lot of time at Virginia with Bronco Mendenhall. They had Kurt Benkert. They had some decent seasons at Virginia. Like these aren't video game eye-popping offensive coordinator stuff like your Ben Arbuckles or even like the guy that we're going to talk about, Mac Leftwich. Guy who runs the football, a very balanced attack, going to bring physicality, and that's what Utah kind of is going to do. At Syracuse, again, like the records, the wins and losses just aren't there, like in terms of continuity, like with Jason Beck. But Beck is 41 years old. I'd say mixed results with the offenses, honestly. I think Beck would be the first to tell you. So it's a total wait and see. Like, I think that they do cool stuff on offense. Like, in watching some New Mexico State games, like, they run a lot of quarterback run. They run a lot of, like, little options. They definitely have motions. And it's time, like, Cam Rising put in some great years at Utah. But now it's time that they get, like, a very mobile style quarterback, more in the mold of a Tyler Huntley who can run and pass, and it's time that they really get some really good athletes at Utah. And then again, like, it's interesting that, we're going to have to see about Coach Whittingham, because he's teased the idea that he might want to retire and step away from being a head coach at Utah. But right now, an interesting move going out there and getting Jason Beck. Like, I think it's okay. I don't think Utah has always had like the craziest offenses in the world. So, I mean, I like Aaron Roderick a lot. I probably like maybe some other offensive coordinators. Like, I wonder what Jeff Grimes is even doing now at Baylor. Like, that thing didn't exactly work. I kind of see what Whittingham is thinking here. And I think it's a decent move. I'm not going to say it's a very poor decision. I'm more also worried, or I'm very curious about the future of Utah football as well. They kind of and now remembering Syracuse, they had that guy Garrett Schrader, if you remember, who was a running quarterback. So they're going to have a mobile quarterback. There wasn't a whole lot of wide receivers with Dino Babers that got to the league and really, really panned out. And then you see what Fran Brown, what he was able to do. New Mexico lost like a lot of games they should have won. I think it's like Broncos' first or second year out in New Mexico, taking over what Danny Gonzalez did out there at New Mexico. So it's an interesting move. I think that I think that there's some more maybe home runs that are out there. I think it's an okay move, because a lot of the time on here I say it's a really, really great hire. I think it's fine. I'm more in wait and see mold. They got to get a mobile quarterback. They got to, get on the offensive line. And then, defensively, that's kind of the blueprint of Utah football. So, again, they're trying to play to their strength as a defensive program. So I think it's a decent hire. All right, I'm going to mark it like probably C+, B-, total wait and see. Jason Beck has, again, bounced around a few jobs. So he's got something to prove at Utah in terms of stayed with Mendenhall for a little while, which is good, right? He stayed at Virginia, so he does have a good relationship, I guess, with staying, and that running game is filthy. So what they do with scheme and things like that in the New Mexico that I've watched is it's a little bit of a dangerous offense to have to go against. All right, so going to be interesting. This is a highly coveted position. So we're going to see what happens with Utah. I think it's total wait and see. Because, again, at Syracuse, yeah, that offense didn't pop with Dino. I certainly remember that. And then this year, 5-7, they had some years at Virginia that worked, right? Some very good seasons at Virginia, which is a tough place to win. So let's see. Jason Beck is the new offensive coordinator at Utah.